Deck versus Switch, the ultimate battle. We're looking at games on both the Switch and the Steam Deck to see how they compare against one another. I think it's a foregone conclusion, but you know what? I just want to see them fight, okay? According to YouTube analytics, only about 12% of you guys subscribe to my channel. And here's to hoping this percentage number goes up. So if you like my content, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, join my Discord server, and also enable notifications. For the sake of testing, our Steam Deck will remain on SteamOS. SteamOS is the default operating system on the Steam Deck, and so it makes the most sense to keep it on this. Also, the Switch that we tested this on is an unmodified Switch, so we can't pull up performance metrics on the Nintendo Switch itself. As for the type of storage we used for the Nintendo Switch and the Steam Deck, well, for the Steam Deck we used the internal storage. Same deal with the Nintendo Switch. Of course, this isn't nearly as fair of a fight as you'd expect. Both the medium and upper tier Steam Decks have NVMe SSDs, whereas the Nintendo Switch is stuck with eMMC storage, which is intrinsically slower. Could we have made this a fair fight by getting a 64GB Steam Deck? Yeah, but guess what? We don't have one. And you know what? We weren't trying to make our singular Steam Deck purchase the lowest end one, so like there's nothing you can do about that. If you want us to do a fair fight, someone can send in their 64GB Steam Deck. I wouldn't mind. But other than that though, there's not really much we can do about that. All of the games tested today are free-to-play games. Free on both Steam and the Nintendo eShop. That said, in future episodes, we want to look at different types of games as well. This is Warframe. You like space ninjas? Well, this is the game for you. Warframe is infamous for many things, one of them being absurdly long load times on consoles. It takes a little bit to boot the game up, and it takes a little bit of time to load the missions each time you want to load into one. For the sake of brevity, we sped this footage up 2 times the speed. As you can see here, the Steam Deck beats out the Nintendo Switch when it comes to load times. And a 13-second difference for Warframe. That's a pretty significant amount of time saved. This is just loading into the game. Let's see how long it takes to load into a mission. As you can see here, the mission is loading in right now, but this is just the Nintendo Switch version. And we've sped this footage up even further as to not waste your time. If you guys want to see the full load times, just I don't know, but we can upload that later if you guys want. Now we know how it loads, let's see how it plays on Switch. At best, Warframe runs at 30 FPS on the Nintendo Switch. The game is bound to lag, especially if you play ability-heavy Warframes. It gets even worse once you go into the open world areas, the big open world areas, rather than, you know, the instanced planets. I mean, historically, Warframe's always been a pretty optimized game for PCs. I mean, I used to play this on a really crappy laptop back in college. That said, optimization isn't magical or anything. There's a limit to how much optimization can do for systems like the Nintendo Switch. That said, the fact that it runs at all is pretty impressive in and of itself. Props to the team who ported this onto the Nintendo Switch. Now, how about that Steam Deck footage, huh? How long does it take for this game to load on the Steam Deck? As expected, the Steam Deck trounced the Nintendo Switch in loading the mission up. 17 seconds versus 41 seconds on the Nintendo Switch. You know what that is? That's almost like 2.5 times faster. It also makes for a better gameplay experience as well. As you can see there, it's running at 60 FPS, with occasional dips into 59, but honestly, it's real good. Warframe was always highly optimized, and I'm not sure if it's changed here or not, but it runs at 60 FPS. What does it matter? Now let's look at a much smaller game, Brawlhalla. Interestingly enough, the launcher actually launches faster on the Nintendo Switch, but in the end, the Steam Deck outpaces it and loads into the menu faster. The race is a lot closer here, though 10 seconds is still nothing to sneeze at. And like Brawlhalla is just a much smaller game in general. Due to the nature of Brawlhalla's matchmaking, we're going to base the loading time from when you immediately find a match to when the match actually starts. And we're going to let this one run in real time because honestly, it doesn't take too long at all, even on the Nintendo Switch. 6 seconds That's not too bad at all. It's a decent load time, especially for a Switch game. Now let's see how the deck compares. Honestly, the results here are quite surprising. The Steam Deck and Nintendo Switch are neck and neck in time, though on a technicality, it seems like the Nintendo Switch wins this one, surprisingly enough. In retrospect, this test was kind of a waste of time because honestly, not a whole lot changed, if anything. Well, hey, at least you're getting an equivalent experience on both the Switch and the Steam Deck, so yeah. Finally, we're going to look at the last game in this list, Apex Legends. You might be wondering why I've sped up the footage. That's because I don't want this video to be like 20 minutes long. Although, that might not be a bad idea, actually. I don't know, we'll think about it later. Do you guys want to see the unaltered loading screens, like at real-time speeds? I could upload that later if you guys want, just let me know in the comments down below. So just to clarify, this was a minute just to get into the main menu. Now let's see how long it takes for us to go into the firing range. Eight seconds isn't bad at all, though it makes me wonder. I have a theory, and I'm going to confirm it when we load this on the Steam Deck. As expected, it loaded, and almost half the time as well. So I think it's fairly obvious that bigger games take longer to load on the Nintendo Switch than they do on the Steam Deck. This is demonstrated with both Warframe and Apex Legends. They're both much bigger games than Brawlhalla is. Now let's see how long it takes for us to get into the firing range. I mean, I think the results speak for themselves. It took almost half the amount of time it took to load on the Nintendo Switch. And you know what? Yeah, 4 seconds isn't a whole lot of time empirically speaking, but it's still like over 50%. So yeah, video games are fun and all that cool stuff, but let's see what happens when you have to quit video games. Forced quitting these games is a lot quicker on the Steam Deck, but that's not why you guys are here, are you? You guys want to see the drag race. You guys want to see the boot times. And as such, I'm here to deliver. The results? Well, I'll let them speak for themselves. It's not surprising that the Nintendo Switch booted a lot faster. I mean, the Steam Deck is a whole computer after all. Given the sheer variety of things you can play on the Steam Deck, it's no surprise, and it's a worthy trade-off. And besides, how often do you reboot your Steam Deck or Nintendo Switch from cold boot, huh? How often do you really do that, seriously?